I'm Tam, the creator of Live to Inspire Movement, and we're here with another Inspired True Stories. And I'm here with Drew Johnson once again. And last time we met was like 4 years ago or something, right?
4 years ago, yeah, that's crazy.
And just like seeing like how you've been evolving and like growing even more too. This like so cool. You got this new workshop that you've been doing.
Yes.
You know, and so yeah, let us know. Tell us like, what is the name of this workshop that you're doing now?
Yeah. Okay, so one of the projects that I birthed is called the Self-Love Advocacy Workbook. And it came at a time where I really needed to channel a lot of energy. My father passed away this past spring. And for me, when I go through big life transitions, I have to write. So it was coming on the heels of me finishing my first year of school. And I just had this abundance of information. And I just needed to do something with it. And so the book was just writing itself, and now I have a book and I extrapolate it, turn it into a workshop, and it's my little baby.
A little workshop book. All right.
Yes.
And what do you call it?
Self-love advocacy.
Self-love advocacy.
Yeah, so something that I've noticed within my own personal healing journey and working with clients and just existing, a lot of people don't know where to start with their self-love journey. They're like, okay, I know I need to love myself. I know I'm supposed to take care of myself, but where do I start? What does that look like? And so the book really breaks down each modality, why we're supposed to do it, how it can help you. And then it also helps you figure out your unique needs as well, because, you know, we all have our own unique stuff we got to focus on. So I think it's helpful.
And you feel like you've been, how do you feel like the difference from like back then when you were doing House of Yodi and like, you know, and now?
That's a world difference. First of all, I didn't even have a kid then. So me having my son definitely aligned me on the path of my true authentic self. Like, I thought I was living a version of my authentic self. And then when he came in, it was like total transformation. So House of Yodi served a purpose. I had to go through House of Yodi because it taught me, one, like the cleansing, how to heal the physical. And so on this part of my journey, I'm really looking at how does the physical challenges impair us or restrict us from connecting with our spiritual aspect. So everything I'm doing is aligning with bridging the physical and spiritual, like down to the studies, my nonprofit, the books, everything I'm doing is aligning with that.
Yeah, I feel like when I started Live to Inspire and even where I'm at now with Live to Inspire, I'm like, this has been the journey of my self-care, my self-work, you know, and learning like how to build this business, but like how to build myself.
Yeah.
You know, right? You felt like that too?
For sure. There's a Bible quote, and it's like, you'll know them by their fruits. And so it's like, if you're really in alignment with your soul's purpose, the work you're doing should be a reflection of yourself, your spirit. Like, it should be, in my opinion. So I think that's beautiful that you're finding yourself outside of yourself.
Yeah, and also too, like saying like how you were like, yeah, it was this and now it's this now.
Yeah.
You know, too, I feel like that would Live to Inspire too. I'm like, if it evolves, it becomes something else, you know, or stops being that and I pick something else up. It's like, it's been a journey to just, it's a reflection of me.
Absolutely. Right? Well, can we talk about like to be fluid and not attached? When I had to release House of Yodi, I was devastated. Because I had poured so much of my time and soul. It was like it was my baby. I was like, I have to release it. It's not working. But as soon as I released it, this new thing was born. It just blossomed. I'm like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
Right? It feels more you and like, you know, to help others in this other way now too.
More in alignment for sure.
How do you, creating that book, you want to see
it?
Let's check it out.
It's about 170 pages of goodness. So I don't know. Do you want to see it? Do I show it? What do I
do? Well, we could just talk about it and kind of like
skim through it. But this really is a work of love, like down to each chapter, what I chose to put in, what I chose to omit. And I also, because I'm a researcher, I'm going to school for my PhD in integral transpersonal psychology, and it's basically mind, body, and spirit psychology. So right now, a lot of the psychology, Western psychology rather, is so like physical focused. And so now we have this new wave of psychology coming in, not really coming in, but taking forefront of, we're not just pragmatic beings, we're a holistic being. And so sometimes if, you know, we have things going on with our spiritual self, it's going to show up in our physical body.
So then, have you ever made a book before or something like this? And how challenging was that to even create something like this?
I have made a book before. So I've published an oracle deck, and then I also published a poetry book when I had my son. So when I go through big transitions, I have to write. So it wasn't hard. So like a lot of the research, a lot of the stuff, I was writing papers in school. And so I'm like, I have this information, I need to do something with it. And then, I already have the background through my own healing practices and working with clients. I was like, okay, I'm just going to merge all of it. And it literally was writing itself. It was just me sitting down and just allowing myself to channel it out. Yeah. Yeah.
So so you've done a book before, so it's like, okay, and you're going to school, so those kind of things like help you like be more comfortable into like making something like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't that challenging? But the first one was probably more challenging, was it?
I think the most challenging part is like ego not perverting the divinity, like the divinity in creation. So when you get into your mind of like, is this right? Is this how it's supposed to be? Instead of just kind of stepping back and allowing the art to create itself, and just allowing yourself to be a vessel for it to be birthed into, that's really the challenge for me, is like getting out of my own way. Yeah, for sure.
Perfectionist and things like that. And you did all the artwork inside this?
Yeah, I did. So it's made for people of color. Everybody can have utilize it, but I wanted to create something that was a reflection of myself. And when I wanted to look at myself in the book. So there's brown bodies. There's everybody's in there, but it's majority of brown bodies in here. So yeah, so everything's in here. It's design and it's creative and artsy fartsy and colorful.
It's a big book, girl.
I know, because I was working on it. Listen, and there's recipes in there. So going back to like my House of Yodi days, like I don't make bath products anymore. So I'm like, if you need a good cleansing bath or like cleansing spray for your home, here's a recipe. Make it yourself. Like,
wow, that is great.
Yeah, I gave up a lot.
So that's where you find inspiration from, from things that you've done before and what you're doing now. What's been one of your other main motivations, to continue to do things like this?
My son, for sure. I have this mindset that I'm building an empire. The work I'm doing, I want it to impact my child. I want him to be in an environment where it's healthy and that he knows himself. And so the work, once I perish from this life, I want to make sure my child, my child's child, and so on, they have a manual to work from. And they're like, oh, grandma did this work already, so here we go. That's what I want for them. So everything I do is rooted in just how can I give back to my children. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, right? Because that's why I do Live to Inspire too. I'm like, man, for my nieces and my nephews, for them to like see this, and see like this was what my Dia did,
Yeah.
Like she was really active and like to like be inspired and motivated by other creators and so yeah, I do it for them too. And also too, like, I mean, I see it like leaving it for my future self.
Yeah.
When I get old and I'm just there, like sitting down, like
I like
that.
and
not doing like I can't do much because I'm like
you're elderly.
I'm an elderly. I can sit there and watch all these videos and remember.
Like I did that, man. Like that's dope. I like that. I like that a lot.
Right, just doing stuff for our future self. What is and so that inspires you, and what continues to fuel and motivate you, and how do you like say there's days like you just don't want to do anything, like how do you like do you take the time off?
Oh yeah.
Or do you push yourself through?
No. So what helps me, I'm a high functioning person, and going back to like knowing your authentic needs in this book, that has helped me. So before I understood that about myself and what is required of me to function at that level, I would beat myself up when I was tired. Like, why aren't you get back to work? And it would be detrimental on me. But I know now that what I can get done, what most people can get done in 8 hours, I can get done in 2. But I need days of rest. So if I feel like I don't have it, I listen to myself and I just rest. And I'm like, okay, girl, I trust you. Go ahead. And so I'll rest for like 5 days and then be like, all right, let's crank it out every single day.
Heck,
yeah. I have to listen to myself. Yeah.
Right. And that's what a lot of people see. Like you see it like on social media. You see it like everybody's like, let's go. You got to keep on doing it. You can't give up, and you got to perform like every day.
No.
And
that's a good way to burn yourself out. That's a good way to make yourself sad.
So how do your days off look like? What does it look like
Ooh,
for you?
okay.
What do you do to rejuvenate?
So today was my off day. So my husband took my child to church, and I had the whole house to myself. So I opened the windows, saged my house, played music, had a good old cry. It was wonderful. And then I played Sims. I was making my dream house, so I was manifesting. That's what I do. I just do whatever I want.
Do whatever you want. You hear that, guys? Just do whatever you want. Take that time off.
Yeah.
And why do we take that time off?
So you can pour back into yourself. So you can pour into all the other spaces you exist in. Yeah, the whole notion, you can't pour from an empty cup. It's so for real.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it, Drew. And so, okay, so, how do you stay inspired and motivated, towards doing it? What keeps you sort of motivated? It seems like it's family, and it's for yourself, What else would you say you would like to tell people on, like, how can they get inspired? Like, what is one of the first things to do to be inspired?
I would say for sure, do something for someone else. Like, allow yourself to be open and to give freely with no expectation. For me, I think that clears a lot of space to give and to have gratitude. It heightens your energetic vibration. And then also spend some time by yourself without distractions, so you can hear the messages that are surrounding you always. So to give and to act in kindness, and then to have alone time with yourself. Yeah.
That is true.
That's a good way to be inspired.
And how about to continue to stay motivated?
You're going to have to find purpose outside of yourself. Like, what is your purpose, and keep that in mind. Because like I said, I'm doing quite much, and there's days where I'm like, girl, why are you doing this? But I have like a whole vision board on my wall. I'm like, okay, that's why you're doing it. I have to remember the why and my purpose. Like, why am I doing this? Because writing papers, having a toddler screaming, running a nonprofit during busy season, I'm like, I'm done. I'm over this. I'm like, well, why are you doing it? I'm like, okay.
So you have a vision board at home?
I have a vision wall.
A vision wall?
Yeah. I do.
What does it have?
In the middle of it, it says Dr. Drew. So I'm like constantly manifesting. I have my email, Dr. Drew Enterprises. And then I have like a spider web of all the things I want to create in this season of my life. And so when I walk into my bedroom, I see it. When I walk out, I see it. So, and I have vision boards all throughout the house. So.
Throughout the house too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Constantly manifesting too.
I like that. Yeah, because I make my stickers, my inspirational stickers, and I stick them like everywhere in my house too.
Yeah.
Even outside my RVs, like the stickers are there to constantly remind us. And also too, like I tell a lot of people, like the mission statement.
Yeah.
Like write a mission statement of like as a creator, in any kind of form that you want to be or do, and look at that back.
Yeah.
Read it.
Yeah.
Remind yourself, right? Like, why are you doing this? Because there's been times where I'm like,
yeah.
But then I hear something about kids or struggling with this or that, and then I'm like, okay, go back to the mission. Read it, and I'm like, all right, man, I really need to stay on this path. I need to continue to do it, because I struggle with that. I struggle with like, staying inspired or motivated. And that's why I like talking to other people, asking them these questions, because it fuels and motivates me too.
Yeah.
Like when I see you like on fire, and she's like, online, like doing something,
she's acting a whole fool.
She gets on, she's like dancing and things like that. Then I'm just like, yeah, like that feels good. I feel like I feed off of that energy for sure.
I appreciate that, because sometimes I just post stuff online. I'm like, all right, girl, like, all right. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, like, I do. I like when I post stuff, it's because I feel like I have something to say and I just want to say it. And, and then like, if somebody takes it, then they'll take it. But it's like my big open book diary.
Yeah. So let me ask, can I ask things? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever, as a creative, have you ever had an experience where people do take inspiration from your work a little bit too much, where it seems like they just carbon copy? Have you had that experience?
I feel like some things that I've said, or do, and I'm just like, dang it, like, why don't you collab with me?
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you reach out and just like talk to me and we can do something together?
Yeah.
But then I don't know what their thought process are.
Yeah.
I think like maybe because we're all alike.
Yeah.
Some of us like match up, and And they even say like if we have an idea or a thought, and if we don't do it, then somebody
moves right
else
yep.
will pick it up, even
Mhm.
though they've never even met you.
Mhm.
And it's like, dang, that actually exists.
Yeah.
You know, it's to me it's so weird, but like,
Well, we're like a little wired circuit. Like, you know, we're all connected. So they say.
yeah. So that's how that it has happened, and I feel like that. But then I'm just like, I mean, maybe they don't even know, you know. But I've talked to them before, and we had the
Yeah.
same kind of conversation about this. And but
I like that perspective, Tam. I'm being so about her. I'm like, how dare you? And then I'm like, okay, moving on.
yeah, because the thing is too is like, yeah, you're gonna do something that might be the same thing, but it ain't gonna be the style that I deliver it.
It's not gonna have the pizzazz.
Yeah, like I'm a whole
Yeah.
different kind of person. You're a whole
Yeah.
different kind of person with your own little style.
Mm.
Like, and we all each have our own tribe
Yeah,
that
true
will
that.
follow us
Yeah.
because they love who we are, and when we're ourselves, you
Yeah.
know, and we're true to ourselves, then we're true to them too, you know. And yeah, I just feel like everybody has their own tribe. Like I heard like one time they were saying like if we have like 100 people that are following us and like buying into whatever, you know, like buying our merch or things like that, like we can survive on that.
Yeah.
You
for
know,
sure,
and we
yeah.
can live on that, and that's how I believe like the future is going to be too.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's going to be their own like brick and mortar or their own like website, you know, your own blog, and people are going to, you know, buy your stuff just like saying you're going to buy their things.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I'll support you, you support me, and it's going to be like a trade, but and like it's
like bartering, like
yeah.
back in. You think we're going to revert back to the bartering days? I think so too. I think it is coming sooner rather than later. Yeah.
You know, because there's something that you created that I'm not gonna do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. You know, and so then we could just trade it.
Yeah.
You know,
make
and
sense.
do that.
Yeah.
And since it's so easy now to like make websites and everything. Like
Yeah.
Like everybody has their own website, and it's super easy to do it. And so like I just don't see like why anybody wouldn't hop on that train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess consumerism, I guess, would be a deterrent, but I think it would be most beneficial as a society if we hopped on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Thanks for asking my random question.
Any more questions?
It'll pop up, but I'll tell you too. You know,
Yeah.
you know how my brain works.
Yeah.
Like, Tam, why is the sky blue?
Because I painted it that way today.
That works.
I mixed these two colors together.
Profit. Her name is the Healing Mothers Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm so proud of her. Like that's my little baby too. So we offer support. So as a holistic practitioner, I see a lot of people who want to align with healing modalities and they don't necessarily look like me or you. And the target that I'm trying to reach are people who do look like you and I. And so something I've noticed that kind of acts as a deterrent is they believe like, you know, honestly, it's like witchcraft or evil, it's othered, like I don't understand it. And then if they don't understand it, they're not going to invest the money to get it done, right? So I wanted to provide community support specifically to the women in our community, particularly the mothers, and offering up free healing space every month so that they can come and try out different things, whether it's meditation, sound healing, whatever. We have like different resources, events, information, practitioners align with us, all for free to give back. So we're gearing up for our biggest event of the year for the 3rd annual Emotional Wellness Month. So that's when we do a tour throughout Texas. Last year we went to Houston, and it was so much fun. We were supposed to go to Austin, but it got rained out, so we did virtual. This year, we're going to do it a little smaller because I am with child, and I want to give myself that space. But we're going to go to Houston again, San Antonio, and then we're having a really big online webinar. So the theme this year is healing trauma creatively, and going back to that notion of like what physical deterrence is keeping us from aligning with our spiritual self. Trauma is a huge factor in that. So I want to just give us space to talk about like how to, you know, deal with that stored emotional energy and the different creative ways you can include on a daily basis to help yourself with it.
Yes. Good. For Healing Mothers, what's it called?
Healing Mothers Foundation.
Healing Mothers Foundation. For free, you guys.
For free, all of it.
So if you're a mama and you're struggling with that, but want to get rid of some of that trauma, this is the event to go to for sure.
It's free.
And it's free.
Yeah.
You know? Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell us about your future self too.
Oh,
like,
girl.
What you got working on next?
Future self. So definitely going back to school for year 2, working on the nonprofit, getting this done. I would like to do a book tour, go around and just, read and share this information. But as far as like creating anything new, just the life. But outside of that, just really working on sustaining is the name of the game. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because some creators like us, like we like to create a bunch of stuff. And
Yeah.
then we get caught up in the mix of just like make, but not like,
you do anything. It's just like, yeah, okay, you'll figure it out. And then you're like, no one knows about it.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off. I'm like, bruh, okay. So
like that.
It's a learning thing. Like, okay, you have to do the other part of it.
Right. Yeah. But it also feels weird because it's like, for me, I'm like, okay, I created it, I made it, there it is, it's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like if I'm like continuously sharing it and resharing it, I feel like it's an overblast. But at the same time, like the algorithm just doesn't show up. So you have to continue to like, right?
And I think I have to conceptualize that in my mind because I'm like, I posted once. Did you see it or not? Like,
and no, they're not.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's a lot of work to have the creative energy to create the thing. And then you got to turn around and create a marketing plan behind that. Man, oh man.
How do you feel? Do you struggle with that? Like,
yeah.
between like being a creator and the whole business side of it? Like,
not the business aspect, but the marketing for sure. Because I like the way my brain works. I'm like really analytical and I like how things work and move. But for some reason, when it comes to the social media or just marketing in general, there's so much resistance in my spirit. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. In my mind, I just want to be like known as the holistic Beyonce, where I'm just like, I'm popping. Like, did you get it? Did you see the book? But no, I'm not there yet.
But you will be.
Yeah,
with that big, beautiful smile.
Manifesting, thank you. Just like, come get it. Thank you so much. So what I'm doing now is relying on a network, reaching out for support. So I'm going to just have someone tell me what I need to make and post it and call it a day. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you know anybody, let me know.
All right. Yeah, releasing that energy, right? Like not holding on to it and holding grudges against it because it has to be done. It's like, you could afford to like pay somebody or maybe somebody just wants to volunteer, right? To be part of that. Good.
Or barter, like you were talking about. Like, I have this, you have that, let's work something out.
Yeah, let's help each other out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's how we're all going to grow, and it's not, because you and I, we kind of do the same thing, but you're a mother, I'm not a mother. So I have my own tribe and you have your own tribe, and so I have people that probably are on my same like tribe that are mothers that there's some stuff that they're not going to relate to, so then they're going to relate with you. And that's why I continue to share like all my friends. Yeah. Because I feel like you guys all have something valuable that I don't have, and we're all vibing on the same frequency.
Absolutely.
So we should definitely be sharing.
It doesn't take anything away from you to support the next person. Like, I don't vibe with that crab in the barrel mentality. Like I can't work with you or competition. That's weird. It's weird energy. Yeah.
So share. Put a little heart on it.
Come on now. You're looking at it. Just do it.
Pass by it. Walk past by it. Just click on it.
Come on.
It helps. It really does help us. Because the more clicks that we get, the more likes and things like that or comments, we keep on showing up on your feed and on other people's feeds too. Like with the reels, man. Yeah. I've noticed that. The more reels you do, the more like people are like seeing these things. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Like,
well, interesting. I actually diversify the social media. So like I find that certain content does well on Instagram, and then I'm reaching a whole different crowd in TikTok. I'm like, who are these people? I don't even know them. So it's really, it's interesting.
Different avenues have different things too.
Yeah. There you go. All the social medias. Do you ever get tired of posting? Like, do you have to take social media breaks?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's days where it's just like complete like Like I'm just like I am not feeling it today. I
Yeah.
ain't got nothing to say. And then like when I have something to say, I'm like ah,
Yeah.
like I'm doing like 5 reels, all at once because I'm like it's my channel. I can
Yeah,
do
you do
whatever
whatever
I
you
want
want.
when
Yeah.
I want,
Yeah.
So but yeah, dude, like there's lots of times where I'm like because two, like I feel like people don't want to like hear you all the time or maybe see you all the time. I think
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like give a pause, give a break,
Yeah.
you know.
Become less accessible.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I've thought about too is like if I was like a real motivational speaker, like going out and like giving speeches to every time,
Yeah.
like I would have to be at that level like all the time,
Yeah.
like my whole like energy. And like sometimes, like, girl, I'm not feeling like being at that energy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm tired, or whatever month it is, things
Yeah.
like that. Like I'm just like not feeling it, or stuff we're going through. We have to deal with. Like we had a market that was like a workshop that was gonna happen last month at the end of the month, and I just had stuff that was just coming up, and I was just like not mentally prepared to like be there for other people, and so I was like, you know what? We need to take a pause.
Yeah.
Like I want to be my 100%.
Yeah.
And so if I can't, then I'll take that pause for sure.
That's beautiful. That's that self-advocacy. Like, nah, I don't got it.
Yeah, we ain't gotta be doing all that.
No.
Because when the time is right and the fire's there, I'm like no, talking. I'll be singing. I'll be doing something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like you'll feel that mood.
Absolutely. I feel like the looming threat is like the algorithm. Like if you're used to posting at a certain time, then you stop, and it's like, oh, girl, now you got one view on the video. You know? So I feel like it's like a trade-off, but at like what you were saying, you're pouring back into yourself, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and there was a class that I was taking that was like talking about that, about looking at all your insights and stuff like that, in the back end of all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be very daunting and overwhelming and like sad sometimes, because then you're looking for these numbers and you're trying to meet them.
Yeah.
And then it takes away from my creativity from like even creating, because I'm too busy looking at that stuff.
Yeah.
And I just had to tell myself like there's got to be a balance there,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe for some people they enjoy doing that and it's their thing to be like looking at numbers and all that stuff, but that's just not me.
Yeah.
Like I'm somebody who just like kind of flows with what comes and goes through me, and so for me it's overwhelming to be looking at that. I get anxiety, and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and unmotivated, at times with looking at that stuff, or I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what, I don't care, like if somebody, sees it, and I'm gonna probably repeat it another time,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I'm more fueled, I'll spit it out again, be talking something, but like, because sometimes I repeat the same stuff because it's what I practice, it's what I'm learning.
Yeah.
So I'm like repeating the same stuff but in different forms and different stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Or things that I read or see. Yeah.
Just repurposing the information.
Yeah.
I can feel it, Tam.
Yeah.
I can feel that.
Well,
Can I get some
thank
water?
you. Yeah, thank you for like joining me like today. Coming out and rekindling. And seeing where you're at. That's what I'm gonna do with this channel, is like see like where everybody's
That's
been
so
at
dope.
with like some of the last interviews, because I still follow you guys.
That's so dope.
I like you guys. Yeah.
I like it too. Yeah, I think that'll be so cool. Thank you. I'm so happy to align with you today. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say or add?
Be kind to yourself. Definitely do that. If you need support, there's people like Tam and myself out there. Just find someone you align with at this current position in your life and just align. You can find my book at restorewellness.net, RESTOR, wellness.net, as well as booking my one-on-ones, my workshops. I have free meditations and everything else on there, and my nonprofit links. That's it.
Sweet. Dope. Well, thank you. Thank you for everybody for joining us today, and for our people that are here today at our workshop. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Stay inspired to celebrate it.